Hello everybody! Welcome back to another fantastic Friday with Dannphan. I am here. Hope everybody's been having a pretty good week. So far it's been a pretty good week for me. Although I am not maybe the bestest in terms of health. I had a sore throat earlier, although it's kind of subsided. So let's hope I didn't actually catch a cold. And it was just like, I don't know, dryness of the throat. That would be nice. Friday, I am so happy it's over. Hope other people had it better. Oh, not a good week? Oh, sorry to hear that, stinging cake. Yeah. No, get better, Dannphan. I'm feeling pretty good now, at least. So, it's a good sign. Maybe I didn't actually catch anything. Maybe it's just sniffles from the cold. You know, it is winter. And a sore throat maybe just from dryness in the air. Not 100% sure, but for now I feel okay. So, we'll call this a win. Oh, and thank you, Mark, for the 10. Yes, finally Friday. Hey, Dannphan. Yeah, you guys were missing me from last Friday. I skipped out. Not this week, though. I made it for this week, and I also did a drawing stream this week. That was fun. It's good to get back to doing drawing streams, huh? I would like for that to be a more regular thing that I do on the channel. To remind people that I am trying to get better at drawing and actually be a legitimately talented comic artist. That would be cool, huh? Not to down myself, but you know, I can do better. I know. I'm hard on other people and I'm equally hard on myself. So I know when I need to improve. In that sense, it is good. But yeah, and it would be pretty fun to like stream me doing different art pieces and showing you guys my improvement in real time. I think that would be pretty cool. It's a neat idea anyway. As I'm working on Reaper Book 2, I would like to be streaming some pages. Spoiler-free pages, of course, because you gotta buy the book, bro. But I think it would be like really cool to just have chill streams where I'm, one, actually getting work done, and two, having fun on the YouTubies. And also, I guess a plus, I'm promoting the actual book that I'm coming out with sometime this year. As far as the first draft of Reaper Book 2, basically just one more page left to sketch. And for this one, I didn't do this with the first book, but for this book, I've been doing them chapter by chapter and having Adam, who is basically always my editor, having him read each chapter and giving me some insight as I'm getting done the first draft. So it's a little bit more efficient than the first book was. Granted, you do need to know how it reads all as one book, but having him like read sections while I'm working on the next chapter, I think that is a much quicker way to be getting editing done, especially when this is gonna be a really long book. A really long book, including all of the chapter divisions, like the illustrations that divide chapter by chapter. The first draft came out to 184 pages. Oh, fuck. It's gonna take me a while to draw. What in God's name was I thinking? So much longer than the first book. I got the first book somewhere over here. Yep. Much longer than this. And this was already, like, pretty long. This was the longest graphic novel I had done at the time. when I did it all my own. Spare for a few chapter illustrations. I got some artists to do some chapter illustrations. I mean, that was something. But now book 2 this was 108 pages, including, I think, the preview read and all the extras. I think. Let me see. Okay. So, yeah, the story was 108 pages for this. Plus the preview and the extras, I think it probably came out to 114 pages. Regardless, the story for book 2, 184. Just for the story and chapter divisions and all that. That's a lot. That's a big bump up. It's almost double the length. But it'll be worth it, because I think book 2 is going to be a really good book. I do. I feel pretty confident. Granted, you know, I still gotta do editing, still gotta do, like, the polishing up, and then I actually have to, like, ink it, because right now it's just a bunch of sketches on a page. But oh boy, yeah, that's gonna take a while to finish. My rough estimation is, like, probably 6 months of inking. That's being generous. That's, like, assuming I can get done a page per day. And have it be, like, done. And then also not including the extras and the preview of book 3, which I also want to include in book 2, because I included in book 1 for the preview for second book, and I thought that was good. That makes it much more of a selling you on a series when you get the preview of the next book. You get excited about what to expect in the next book. I like that. I like the preview idea, so I want to keep doing that. So that's what I'm gonna do. And if it costs more pages to do it, then damn it, I'm gonna have to draw more pages. That's just how it is. For now, anyways. I think maybe in the future, if this does become a successful series, I could definitely hire on an assistant or something. But right now, we're kind of just working with what we got, and what we got is me. So I gotta work within my skills, and you know how it goes. Hopefully it'll be worth the wait. I think it will. I think it's turning out pretty good. And thanks again, Mark. Really long book, equal 2 books instead of 1, so we get Reaper 2 and 3 maybe. I already have plans for what's gonna happen in book 3. That's gonna be like each book. I think I explained this before, but the plan was that each book would be its own little story arc. And the first 3 books are going to be introducing each of the party members. So book 1 is Ichabod's story, right? And then book 2, we're going to be introduced to another character. And they're going to meet and, you know, bond and whatnot. And then book 3, we get another character. And I do have an idea for a 4th party member, but I think I'm gonna hold off until I introduce the 4th party member. Because I think just the 3 of them can get the job done as a suitable party. But yeah, it's really exciting. It's exciting doing the series. My only regret is that it's gonna take so much time doing it all by myself, because it's very ambitious. It is. It's a really ambitious project that I'm doing here with making these really long books. And the hope is that it'll get easier as I keep on trucking along. I mean, you look at these mangaka, and what they accomplish every week is within itself incredible. Granted, they do hire on assistants. They use the money that they get paid from the publisher to hire on their own assistants with their own money, which is, it's crazy. But I guess the incentive is that if you can shoulder more work yourself, then you can keep more of the money. And maybe to some extent that makes sense. I don't know. But hopefully those of you who did enjoy the first book will be interested in checking out the second. Hopefully I haven't lost your interest already, just on book 1. I remember I did have someone review it and be like, it's a terrible introduction to a series. You haven't sold me. You should have done better. Shame. And, you know, you take it on the chin. It's fine. I just hope that I continue to improve and maybe change some minds here and there. Hey, Dannphan, we got a bad cold front going through Texas. My boss made me cover already dead plants. Yeah. That's true. It's gotten really cold really fast over here too. Thanks, Ray. Good job getting the first one out, and book 2 being even longer sounds amazing to me. Reaper. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It is really going to be an ambitious series. The idea of me just keep on pumping out these books. And you know, it looks like right now I'm at the steady pace of 1 book per year, but I'd like to do 2 books per year. Is it possible? Probably not without an assistant. If we're being honest here, it's probably not actually possible unless I had somebody else working on it with me, but maybe that is something to strive towards in the future. It all depends what sales look like, you know? Either way, I will probably just keep on making them because I'm really excited to be writing this series. This is my baby. You hear that all the time. You hear indie comic people say, oh, this is my baby. I gotta take care of it and keep it going. Now I feel that. I feel that on myself. Yeah, Reaper's certainly ambitious. Am I the only one with the stream looking like a potato? I don't know, Ishka. I hope not. But this is the new camera. I do know that StreamYard won't let me stream with 1080p unless I like buy the premium or something. So I think that it's just streaming like 420 or something like that. But on my end, it looks great. Because I'm looking at the camera quality before it gets compressed, I guess. But yeah. Oh yeah, I missed the good old-fashioned last time on Dragon Ball Z that every show used to have. Right. I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna do the next time. What you can expect next time. I want to ink it. I don't think I can afford you at 180 pages. 184. Oh my god. I gotta get some hella sales. My prediction was originally 180 pages. I was super close. I was so close with that prediction. I ended up doing 184 pages. I was right on the money. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The only thought I really had about the first book was that it felt kind of short. I mean, it's not short compared to comic issues, but it is short compared to other manga. That's the thing, right? So because I'm doing like manga-sized books, it definitely will feel short. But yeah, 184 pages is definitely gonna, it's probably gonna fit what you would expect from a manga-sized book a little bit more. Thanks again, Mark. Your content is awesome. Keep going. Writing reviews next week. Sick. Happy to hear it. Yeah, a lot of manga I've read takes a while to really get going. That's true. There are some manga out there that have like really good first chapters, and then sometimes later they fall off, right? there's so many manga where like I read the first chapter and it's like amazing, but then you get to chapter 2 and it's like a completely different series, you know? Like it goes just a completely different direction from where you thought it was gonna go. And some, it's like the opposite, where like the first chapter, maybe it's okay, or maybe it just sucks, maybe it's just like awful garbage. But then like once you force yourself to stay in there, to hang in there just a little bit longer, then it gets really good. There's a couple like those, for sure. I can think of a couple, I mean, just generally on the shelf that had really good first chapters. I would stand by that Kaiju number 8 has one of the best introductions that I've read in manga. Even now, I think I probably still feel that way. I really enjoyed the introduction to Toilet Bound Hanako-kun as well. Title, that's the American title, but that is what they called it. So if you wanted to find the manga, that's where you would find it. Alita has a really good intro. Of course, I have the first 2 books of Alita. After that, it falls off a little bit, but it's okay. I'll eventually read the second Alita series. What was it? It was Last Order? I know that the Mars Chronicles is a spin-off, right? That's just like her past. I don't know. I have to do research on it to figure out what I'm supposed to read next. But I will eventually read all of Alita. But yeah. Dannphan, introducing people to your characters and their world is always the hardest part of selling a story. First impressions mean everything to people's investment level in the story. Yeah, very true. Very true. You gotta get those first impressions really down. You gotta get down good. Sorry if I'm a little bit behind on reading chat, but I'm gonna get to all of you, I swear. I just got a little distracted talking about other things. Thank you, Matthew. The challenge with hiring artists is that they would rather use their talents for their own projects than work for hire. Not everybody. You'd be surprised how many artists out there are looking for work. I've had a few people approach me and just straight up ask, like, hey, can I do a comic with you? and I'm, obviously very flattered. But very, very few of them have I actually worked with. Sometimes the people who are ambitious working on a project will also be the same people who will all of a sudden, bam, disappear on you out of nowhere because they were too ambitious, and then they got like really nervous once deadlines started to get talked about, And yeah. That happened to me a couple times, where some people just disappear all of a sudden. And I've also had my fair share of, like, not following through. Not that I would disappear all of a sudden. I would tell somebody ahead of time if I just couldn't work on the project. Because I know that you're supposed to do that, but some people are a little bit too embarrassed to admit it, I guess. Reaper Game World, still working on the concept. Got to build my game building skills. Yeah, very cool to get people in the chat who know about gaming. Video games are definitely a medium that I would not pass up the opportunity to work on or produce. Granted, producing a video game, pricey stuff. And I'm not really sure if I have an audience that would be really interested in buying a video game that I helped create, So I'm not really sure if I'd be able to crowdfund it, especially because it's pricey stuff. It's probably significantly pricier than comics if I were to like add everything together. But comics, I feel a little bit more confident that I have a reputation of fulfilling the campaigns and getting it done in a timely manner. And also people have read some of my comics, so they know kind of generally the writing quality to expect, as well as sometimes the art quality, depending on the artist or if it's me drawing it, etc., etc. but not so much for video games. If I were to enter the video game world, it would be a new experience for me. So maybe people would be more skeptical, and that would be understandable. I would get it. But yeah, I'm certainly not against getting into video games though. I think they're very fun. Oh, Kaiju number 8 sucked. The start was pretty okay and then it got boring. I'm actually fully caught up on Kaiju number 8. I've been enjoying it, but I know that the writer is ending it. Because you can just kind of see the writing on the wall. I don't know if it was like officially announced somewhere. But just all of the sudden we got the final fight, you know? Or what feels like the final fight and what feels like the conclusion. And I'm still kind of enjoying it, gotta be honest, but it does feel like everything is wrapping up pretty quickly. In hindsight, I thought it would be like a much longer ongoing series. Like I thought we were gonna, you know, battle a lot of other different enemies, but I don't know. I don't know why. We just, bam, final fight. I'm still enjoying it though. Oh, that's me. I'm in the middle of making a game with Goji and I'm fucking it up so hard. No, Ishka, don't fuck it up so hard. Fuck it up gently. Be gentle with your fuck-ups. Just make a visual novel. That's funny that you mentioned that, because I did. And all the data got deleted for it. All my progress is gone forever. Next time I'll make a brand new one from scratch. Maybe I'll reuse some assets here and there. I think Kaiju number 8 started out strong but ran out of gas for me. I guess that's not an unpopular opinion then. I guess other people ran out of, just couldn't maintain the interest. But yeah, it does have a really strong start. Sorry, that, like I said, I'm a little bit sniffly. It's better than me just dripping snot on stream. So, sorry if this is anti-ASMR for you. But yeah. Yeah, I think it did really have a strong start, though. It's a shame. Not everybody was completely attached to it, and now I guess it's ending. I guess it's gonna be over soon. Glad I'm not the only one who looks at the Kleenex. Well, I have to mention it, right? You know, something fun that happened over the weekend. Well, last weekend, not the future, but you know. We hung out with our friends, and we did something kind of fun. I'll mention this just in case you guys want to do something fun with your friends. What we did was we went to kind of a thrift store, but it's a thrift store for media and mostly anime and manga. And so they had a bunch of anime DVDs there that were like, you know, used and being resold. Same thing with a bunch of manga there. You're getting discount manga, although most of it was full price. Discount manga, get the fuck out of here, right? But we came up with this idea, like, let's pick out some random anime DVDs and let's watch one episode of each one together and see who comes out with the best random pick. And the rule is, you know, it's got to be something that neither of us have watched. Nobody in the group has watched. So we got to watch a bunch of new anime together, and that was super fun. It's also super fun just in general, judging every anime based on the pilot. Because like I said before, some anime, some manga is going to have a really strong start and then fall off. And then some is going to have like a really fucking crazy, absolutely garbage start. One of this is the funny part. I mean, there's a lot of funny parts, but one of the anime that my friend picked out was Gantz. None of us had seen it. I have not never watched it, never read the manga. I've just kind of seen the omnibus around, and they mistook it for being Blam or Blame, depending on how you know of the series. It was not Blame. It was very different from Blame. But, oh boy, that anime. It hurt my eyes. The animation is so stylistic. I'll say that. It's stylistic. The director had a vision, and it was a very cheap and corny-ass vision, because the zoom-ins were... You know that, like, clip of the Indian drama where it's like... It's like that. It had very, like, silly zoom-ins, and very... Yeah, it was a trip. It was not very well animated. I'll just say that. It was not very well animated at all. And the pacing was not good. And then there's the story. I don't know where it goes in the future, but just judging based on the pilot, I didn't like it. I didn't like it very much based on the pilot. One of the funny things that I said before we even sat down all of the anime DVDs that we picked out is, oh man, I hope we didn't pick out any porn. I didn't pick out any porn because at the thrift store they didn't organize them. The hentai was just like scattered about with all the normal anime DVDs. So I was like, man, I really hope we didn't pick anything inappropriate. Motherfucker picked Gantz. There's nipple. There's some rapey scenes in that first episode alone. Granted, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. But it was pretty... It was not what we were expecting, as you can imagine. No offense to anyone who likes Gantz. It just wasn't what we were looking for. And it caught us completely off guard. So, yeah. I realize I also was getting Gantz and Blame mixed up. They have like kind of a... Something about their style is very similar to each other. Hentai DVDs would be very obvious. It depends. It depends, right? Some are more obvious than others. We were trying to read the back of the DVDs to kind of get an understanding of it. But Gantz didn't have a synopsis on the back of the DVD. So we really had no indication of what we were getting into at all. We thought it was Blam. I knew that it wasn't Blam. I knew that it was different from that, but I didn't realize what it was. They thought it was Blam. It was very funny though. Yeah. Me and Adam picked out some DVDs too. I'll show you the ones that we picked out. So my pick, I was trying to go for like a comedy. Picked out Psychic Squad. Have any of you heard of this one? My pick wasn't much better than Gantz. It was better. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't much better, you know. So all it says really on the back of the DVD is that these three girls have psychic powers and they're superheroes, and this guy is like their handler who keeps them in check. So I was like getting maybe Powerpuff Girl vibes with this, but instead of the Powerpuff Girls, they're psychics, and that's kind of like the professor. You know, I was thinking, okay, a lighthearted comedy with superhero girls, whatever. And for the most part, that is what I got. But it was a lot more sexual of a pilot than I was expecting, considering how young the girls are. I think they're supposed to be like I think it is supposed to be kind of similar to Powerpuff Girls, where they're all in elementary school. She just straight up sits on a guy's face. I wasn't expecting that. That was a little bit. It's a little bit rattling of the cage, you know? It wasn't the worst, okay? In all honesty, even with the weird fan service, it wasn't ever. And that's the real problem with it, I think, is that they're really swinging with all of these jokes, trying to make you laugh, but none of the jokes were really that funny. It's like the first villain that they fight is like a gay guy who like has the power to make things hard with his cock. Very sexual first episode, like I said before. He shoots a beam out of his penis and it turns things into rocks. You don't see the penis, you know, it's in his pants, don't worry. He doesn't completely pull it out. But you know, I'm not expecting that. And you hear that and you think, wow, that sounds really funny. But they don't do anything really that funny with it. It's just, you know, the idea is kind of silly, but the execution is not very funny. It's just, I expected it to be a lot funnier than it actually was. This guess is my overall summary of we only watched the first episode. At all of these anime that we were watching, we were only watching the first episode. That was the plan. So, interesting, I guess. But, I don't think that I had the winner when it comes to, like, who picked out the best anime. I don't think anyone was thinking Psychic Squad. I think this would also make a fun video to do in general. If I did a video that's like, oh, Goodwill anime or something like that, and I had a bunch of DVDs that I picked up at one of these thrift stores. I know Peanut Butter Gamer does like the Goodwill video games, so maybe people would be interested in an anime version of that. It's a thought anyways. But I would also have to like watch all of it to give it an actual review. But I feel like I could do that. I have the power. I can do it. And here, I'll show you the one that Adam picked out too. I think Adam's pick was much better based on their first episode. We only watched the first episode of these. So you tell me, guys, if you've heard of this one. Tower of Druaga. Apparently, I believe this is based on a video game or an arcade game. Not really sure. It's based on something. I don't think that this is like an original. But watch the first episode of this and you wouldn't expect it based on the cover, because the cover looks fairly serious and pretty and got this nice fantasy border around it, right? All the characters in action poses, they look like they're about to fuck some shit up, and look at the back and it's like, oh, it's all serious, you know? First episode of this anime is a parody. It is a parody picking apart fantasy series. Like all general fantasy series. And it's hilarious. It's actually really funny. It's a really funny first episode. But I was not expecting this to be a comedy, so I was really confused. We were all like looking at each other like, what the heck is going on? This is a comedy fantasy series? It was really funny. The way that because they show like the main character going through like his fantasy adventure, and they're just hitting every single trope in the book. And then, oh fuck, oh god, there's so many good jokes in that first episode. I won't spoil everything for you, but they had some fan service in there too, don't get me wrong. It was not completely free of fan service. There was this one scene involving tentacles. but it was all for the sake of comedy. They didn't just shove it in your face for no reason. It was actually genuinely funny. And that's what I care about. If you're gonna do, like, the fucking fan servicey joke, make it funny. Make it funny, please. Anyway. So we look up reviews of this series to see, like, what is going on here. Is this supposed to be a comedy series? Because at the end of the first episode, it turns out, like, that whole first episode was just a dream sequence, essentially. Which is quite a move. It's really strange to start off an anime, a pilot episode of an anime, with a dream sequence that is not, you know, exactly representative of the rest of the series. But that's what they did. So the first episode is a total parody, not to be taken seriously. And apparently, the majority of the series is a serious, or general, serious action fantasy series. But for whatever reason, a lot of people who review it have said that it's like a gamble what kind of episode you're gonna get. It's like a dice roll. There's so many tonal shifts within this anime series. The first episode starts off as a comedy parody, and then apparently some other episodes you're gonna get action, you're gonna get drama, and then you'll get a parody episode again, and then it just like switches, which sounds really weird. And I can see how that could be really frustrating to see different writers, maybe, I'm not sure. Yeah, I would think it would have to be like different directors telling people like what direction to go with each episode. But it's really interesting, and that I actually want to watch the rest of this because I want to experience the whole thing to see what it feels like to have all these different tonal shifts in the series. But that first episode was hilarious. And I would recommend people would watch that first episode. If it's like on Crunchyroll or whatever streaming service, I don't know. Obviously, we watched it on the DVD. But yeah, I want to watch the rest of this and see if it's good. You know, tonal shifts, it's really difficult to make that good, but I don't know. I feel like there might be something here. It was actually probably on my of everything that we watched, I might have enjoyed Tower of Druaga the most. Just based on that first episode. Purely based on the first episode. We also watched Pumpkin Scissors, the first episode of that. It was pretty good. It was alright. I felt it. I would watch all of that, for sure. I think it's a cult classic, but it's not as well known as like other anime. Oh, heading out, Brian? We'll see you later on the next Friday, perhaps. What else did we watch? We watched this one OVA. This OVA series that's like 3 episodes long. I'm having difficulty remembering Read or Die. We watched the OVA for Read or Die. Just the first episode, though. Just the first one. That was interesting. They don't really do much, they don't really do too much explaining in that first episode. Like, the main character just has superpowers, and you don't really get an explanation for, like, her superpowers or anything, but you know visually, because you're watching it, that she has the ability to manipulate paper. And the way that they show her manipulating paper is, like, super cool. I did love it. The visuals and the animation for that first episode of the OVA, very good. I don't know how the official series is, because keep in mind, the OVA is different from the official series. They're separate. But I might watch the rest of the OVA series and maybe it's good move on to the, like, official stuff. The first episode of the OVA also takes place in the United States. The very first scene, I don't know why. I don't know why they chose to do this. I guess they just wanted like big stakes, right? But the very first scene, the villain blows up the White House. The president like pisses his pants. There's no reason he wasn't going after the president. He doesn't care about the president. He's just lost. He's looking for the library and he doesn't know where it is, so he just blows up the White House. It's kind of a stupid scene, honestly, but for some reason I decided to open up the OVA like that. Okay. the rest of the episode is pretty good. It was pretty good. I really liked the animation and I had fun with the characters, especially the main character. I love her. She must be protected at all costs. Anyway, it was also interesting seeing New York in an anime, especially because the Twin Towers were still part of the OVA. It came out just before, like a month before 9/11. This OVA series hit. Interesting, huh? But Witch Hunter Robin? Question mark? I've seen one episode of Witch Hunter Robin. Ooh, not as part of like our DVD watching event, but I have seen on another occasion an episode of Witch Hunter Robin, and I thought it was pretty okay. But I, okay, but didn't get me to, I guess, watch the rest of it. TV anime is also worth a watch. Yeah, I'll probably try to keep an eye on it, honestly. But yeah, how many of you would be interested in me doing like a Goodwill anime review where I just pick up random DVDs of anime and review them for a video? Because I feel like that could be something. But then again, I'm always trying these like random video ideas that just don't get any traction whatsoever. And then it just feels like such a waste of time. And I cry. I cry a lot. Yes, I do. It's actually part of the reason why I don't do many anime reviews. There's so many anime that I've watched all the way through and manga that I've read all the way through that I've never bothered to actually sit down and review on the channel because it feels like nobody cares. It just feels like I guess that is something that social media kind of beats you down with after a while, is that if your videos start to underperform, it feels like there's no point in making them ever again. Which is unfortunate because the videos of mine that do perform better than I imagined. They're always the videos that I would not make more of, like the drama stuff, for example. Those videos always take off, but I'm not gonna make more drama videos because I don't really like making drama videos. It's not my thing. But I guess those are the ones that people like. What are you gonna do, right? It is what it is. Yeah. Happy Friday. Yay! Happy Friday. Favorite anime featuring New York City that I enjoyed? Little Charo? Or Chero? I don't think I've ever heard of that, no. Yeah, people like drama? It's true. It's true, people like drama. They eat that shit up. They'll watch multiple videos about the same drama. I am not above this. I will also do the same thing, only if I'm interested in the drama. And usually, I'm not really. But when the drama is extra juicy, that gets my attention. It does. I've managed to completely be unaware of like 90% of the Comicsgate drama. Actually, like most of the Comicsgate drama I'm completely unaware of. You think that I would be in that drama sphere because I do comics and because like I've done streams before with people who are Comicsgate adjacent, right? But no, I'm completely unaware with whatever drama goes on with Comicsgate. It's kind of just, it's never interesting. It's never interesting. It's always the same, oh, this other comic creator said that my book was bad and I got upset or whatever. It's just always so bland. Just people not liking each other's books or thinking that they're hacks. And that's, from what I understand, it's basically just the cycle. That's the whole cycle of drama in Comicsgate. Is people not liking other creators and then just being like, I don't like this guy. And then, boom, 9 videos about drama break out. It's better to stay out of CG drama. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like I said, I'm not really usually interested in drama in the first place. And, yeah, the Comicsgate stuff is just bland. It's just kind of, I mean, drama-wise, it's bland drama. It's not something worth getting overly excited about, you know? Will you be doing another draw stream soon? I would love to do another drawing stream soon, absolutely. There's always that one piece that I showed the sketch of Ichabod and all the zombies. I was thinking about doing that for a drawing stream once I'm done the sketch, of course. But yeah, and as I'm inking up book 2 of Reaper, I'd love to do drawing streams of me sketching all of the pages. I think that would be super cool to just get into the habit of drawing me actually, streaming me actually drawing the pages. Ugh, I think there's too much CO2 up here. We got stale air problem. I'm starting, my brain is starting to go. I'm breathing in less and less oxygen up here. That's the thing we started to get more aware of in our house, is stale air, otherwise just known as way too much CO2 in the house. Because if you don't have proper ventilation in the house, you're just breathing in CO2, and if the CO2 levels go above 1,000, you start to see cognitive decline. You start thinking slower and making really stupid mistakes on stream. Of course you do. It's always on stream. But it's funny, we're starting to get into the habit of like opening up the windows to get better ventilation throughout the house, or at the very least get some more oxygen into the house. And Adam, for Christmas, funny enough, funny Christmas present to get, he got oxygen. He got like these little canisters of oxygen that you can just breathe in. It's not pure oxygen, it's like mixed oxygen. So, but yeah, he was testing it out to see like if getting some fresh oxygen really does spark your brain up a little bit. And I tested it out myself. And it's so funny, I got like this, it's not like a deep huff that I got. I just like breathed it in a little bit and it cured my writer's block. I think we have a problem here in this house. It's like, yeah, like an oxygen bar. You're exactly right. It's like that. It's the, God, what do they call it? I need a huff of oxygen to remember what this word is. But yeah, it's probably not a good sign if you're having trouble thinking and then you just get like a breath of oxygen in and all of a sudden the thoughts come back to you. I think we have a problem with not enough oxygen getting into this house. So we're definitely opening up more windows. I know that it's winter, it's cold, but we gotta have the windows open if we can't breathe. So you should test the CO2 levels using a meter. We did. That's the thing. We got a CO2 meter and we're testing it now. And the average should be 500. That's what they say. The average should be 500. But we've been hitting like 900 and at times 1,000. And like I said, you start to see some significant cognitive decline after 1,000. You don't want 1,000 CO2 stuffs in your house. So it's definitely something to look into more. Part of it is, I think part of it is that we have gas heaters and they obviously produce a lot of CO2. And there's really not much you can do for it because it's cold, except open up the window and try to ventilate more. Another part of it is there's a portion of the house that was an addition to the original house. And they didn't really set up ventilation to the addition. So, there's a lot of just CO2 that gets caught there that's not properly being vented out. Perhaps, we got a bunch of different theories for why it is so bad in this house. But yeah, it's not good. Yeah, 900 to 1,000. Very not good. I think at 2,000 it starts becoming deadly. We're not there yet, so we're okay, we're safe. But, prefer to keep it at the average. Prefer to keep it at like 500. We also tested the meter at somebody else's house who had a much better ventilated room. He was at 500. So, it's an us problem. Unfortunately. Do you not have a window in your room? Yes, we have, I have the window open over there. There's a window over here too, but it doesn't really open. It's like broken, so I can't open this window. But I have the window open all the way over there, and that'll help a little bit, at least with airing out this room. But basically, I'm talking about this to make you guys also aware of if your home has stale air in it, perhaps you will not be thinking with 100% of your brain. So it's something to just be wary of. Just think about every now and then. If you can't think, maybe it's because you're just breathing in your own CO2 and becoming stupid. Who knows? Who knows? Get a meter. You look like a superhero right before they get their superpowers. Does that make sense? I guess I am kind of wearing weird, nerdy clothes. Yeah, I look like the Clark Kent before becoming Superman. Or actually, I think Supergirl also wears the glasses when she's in disguise, right? But that's a very funny thing to just read in chat. Yeah. Well. Anyways, we got like 4 more minutes left of the stream here. So if you have any questions you have for me, anything you'd like to know, the Dannphan channel, or future comics we're coming out with, I will plug a little bit. We have The Way Long Back. The next 2 issues of The Way Long Back are coming to Burning Star Comics. February 14th, baby! Valentine's! That should be fun. So if you've been reading The Way Long Back, you'll be able to continue reading at least the digital versions as they're released onto the website. You can get excited about that. And Reaper Book 2. I'm looking for a like spring release, or well, release campaign. I'll say campaign because it's gonna take me a while to actually finish it, but a spring campaign for Reaper I think is probably what's gonna end up happening. And I'll also like put up whatever books we have left of book 1. I do plan to do a second printing of book 1 and maybe like polish it a little bit. But if you like this cover, maybe you'll want to own the first edition. One of the things that I thought would be fun to do for the second edition is to do another variant cover. I thought that would be fun anyway. Some people like variant covers, and I also feel like I could do better. You know, I could do something cool for the cover of Reaper, so maybe I'll do that. I think that would be fun. Dannphan, when are we gonna watch you play Elden Ring? I have a gaming channel, actually, funny enough, and I have played Elden Ring. I even played with a build for like my main character in Reaper. I made a build for him and I played that in Elden Ring. Very funny. It's very funny, especially because it's like such an ass build. So it's like playing a challenge run, really. But yeah, if you want to watch that, check out the gaming channel. Link is in the description. Let me see. Dannphan, can we order physical issues of any of your books? I bought one digital, but too much trouble to read it. Yeah, so there are physical versions of some of the books, not all of them, though. There's physical versions, of course, of Reaper, of Sonic City Witch, physical. That's on the website. Horizon Quest, physical. That's on the website. And one more. It's Not Like Getting a Job Will Kill You, physical. That's on the website. And there's also physical of Searchers, if you're interested in reading Searchers. That's not mine, but it's available on the website if you get so bold as to want to try something a little different. Is that really loud? I'm sorry if that is. We got some crinkling plastic ASMR in the chat. But yeah. Your Reaper needs more cowbell. I'll get on that. Everything needs more cowbell, I guess. Oh, yeah, me and my boyfriend should co-stream together. We do the gaming streams together. Me and Adam, we both do the gaming streams together. Every now and then he'll show up on the main channel too. But we usually just play the games. Sometimes we both play a game actually together if it's a co-op game, but it seems like there's less and less co-op games out there these days. So what ends up happening is one of us ends up playing a game, and then the other one just ends up commentating on like the couch or something. But yeah, she mostly yells at Sonic. Hey, only sometimes. I still haven't finished Sonic Adventure 2. That last level is hard. So it's like a boss rush, but it's a stage rush, and it's, you know? You really want to check Reaper out? Well, nothing will be stopping you. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have that book 2 campaign up there, and I'll also be offering book 1 on that, so you could always just bundle them together if you wanted to. Oh wait, for sure. Yeah, the lack of couch co-op games is so frustrating. So true. So true. My god. We still have fun playing games like Double Dash together. For those of you who remember Mario Kart Double Dash, peak game. I can't believe that they've never done another Mario Kart Double Dash game. It's all been like regular Mario Kart, right? But I gotta have the Double Dash. I gotta have Adam on the back of my car punching other people. That's what makes it peak. I love the other Mario Kart games too. They're all good. But Double Dash, peak. Oh, that's a random question. Have you read any of the Mask comics? There was at one point in my life, I believe in my teen years, where I binged all of the Mask comics. Or at least all of the ones that were available at the time. I was very shocked at how violent they were. But I did read them all at the time. Oh, well, I guess we're already past the hour. But thank you guys for joining me on another fantastic Friday with Dannphan. It's been really fun talking with you guys and catching up as we do. I would like to do another drawing stream next week. No promises, but I would like to. And I'm almost done the Reaper Book 2 first draft. And that'll be good to start drawing some of those pages on drawing streams. So, yeah, things to look forward to next time. We'll catch up on another Friday. Maybe you'll have more questions for me then, or other topics to talk about. But it was fun talking about our experience with the Goodwill anime, for sure, and talking about comic progress. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you next time, and good night. Good night until then. Bye, guys.